So, as I said, that it is a combination of two things. One is called perceptual map, that is called multiple dimensional scaling, plus PCA. So, multiple dimensional scaling we use for perceptual mapping, and principal component analysis we used in the factor analysis. So, when we combine these two aspects, now we are having the correspondence analysis. So, correspondence analysis is a technique designed to analyze simple two-way or multi-way tables containing some measure of correspondence between the rows and columns. So, in correspondence analysis, we are having a table, and in this table is basically representing the relationship between two variables. One variable comes in the row like brand, and second comes in the columns like positioning. And so result provide information which is similar in nature to those produced by factor analysis technique. And so as I said, that this is a combination of perceptual mapping and the principal component analysis. Then okay, it is a special. Now in the second slide, I write the same thing, that it is the combination, it is a special case of principal component analysis. You know that we apply factor analysis on scale variables, and we want to group them on the basis of their correlation. The variables which are highly correlated, they comes in as a factor. Now in this case, we are applying the principal component analysis. This is similar to the principal component analysis, but it is applicable on the categories. So in this way, the correspondence analysis is different from the factor analysis. Factor analysis is applicable on the scale variable, and correspondence analysis is applicable on categorical variables. Okay, so we therefore the correspondence analysis and PCA are used in different circumstances. Okay, so I will show some of the calculations also. Like for example, we have to understand the data first. So what kind of data we have to maintain here, and how to collect the data. So first of all, if you really want to need to understand the correspondence analysis, the first thing is that we need to understand how to collect the data, right? So basically, if you want to collect the data, we make a table like this. I'm making a rough table, and this is the row, and this is the column. So we are having the rows here, and we are having the columns here. And after this, I have different options in the rows. Like here, I'm having the 4 options, and basically the rows is one category. So let me assume that it is the subjects. This is just to take the example, and I'm taking the subject like finance, marketing, and the HR and economics. So these are the subjects. These may be the brands. These may be the region. So in rows, we have category number 1, and we want to identify their association with different columns. Now, what is column here? So now I'm assuming here the type of research. So which type of research is related to different areas? Like I can mention different type of research, like qualitative research or exploratory research, case study method, experimental research, right? And longitudinal research. So these are the different type of research. Now I will ask the different respondents that which type of research you think is mostly in finance area. So the respondent can tick in any of the cell. Like suppose if I feel that the finance experiment is very less, case study is maybe high, so I have to find out the most appropriate answer, most appropriate type of research related to the finance area. So let me say the case study research is quite famous in finance. So somebody say in marketing, qualitative; in human resource, experimental; economics, longitudinal. So this is the response of one candidate, right? Now, when you collect the data from 30 respondent, 100 respondent, 1000 respondent, the accumulated data will looks like this, right? So now how to interpret from this table? This table say that there are 725 respondent we have. Out of 725 respondent, the 19 respondents say the Northeast are liberal. So they make tick here, right? And 26 ticks are there. So you can count the number of ticks in each cell. So this table is representing you the number of ticks made by the different persons in each cell. And after that, we can count the ticks. And assuming that one person will make only one tick in one row, so we are having the these number of ticks. So I hope you understand this table, right? It is a accumulation of the different responses. In this example, which is shown in the PPT, there are 725 respondents, and so I think so here I'm supposed to be wrong, because one person will make tick here, and the another in another row the tick. So one person will make supposed to be 4 ticks. So one person is supposed to make 4 ticks, right? So well, but this is the summary of all the ticks. I can't say the number of respondents is 795, because it is possible that somebody will not make any tick in any row. It is also possible that somebody will make all the ticks in all the rows. So, but this is sure that this part of the table is showing you the number of ticks that you receive from the respondent. After that, we actually the data analysis start from this table, and we will convert this table into different tables, and then we will apply the principal component analysis, and we calculate the eigenvalue of from the analysis, and on the basis of the eigenvalue, we will calculate some relative importance and all. So now what to do? After this table, when you get the data, I will show some practical data also. Okay, the corresponding table is simply the cross tabulation of the row and column, including row and column marginal total saving as input. Okay, now what you do? If you divide each row by the row total, let me show you that. If I divide 19 by 131, if I divide 23 by 131, right? So the first row, if it is divided by 131, which is the total of the row, so in the last column, we will have only the 1. Now you can see that in the last column, we are having the only 1. Now we are having some numbers in this table. So can you think what this number represents? Like point here, we are having the 0.145. Here we are having 0.176, 0.443, 0.122, and 0.115. So largest number we are having in the moderate. So there is a idea which comes into the mind that the Northeast may be related to the moderate highly, right? So there may be some relationship, there may be some association between the Northeast and the moderate. Similarly, if I see in the second table, I found out the same result. The moderate is found to be the highest. So maybe the Midwest is related to the moderate. Let me check some other. Okay. In this table, we are having all high values to the moderate. Yeah. So these numbers, higher these numbers, but normally we don't get this kind of result. We found it may be possible that the South is known for liberal, then this number is found to be the highest, or the West is found to be the red cones, then this number is found to be the highest. So by looking at these values, we can have some idea whether the brands are, whether the rows are related to the columns or not. After that, then we calculate. Similarly, we calculate the column wise. Now, the way each number is divided by the row total, similarly we divide every number by the column total. So this table is representing you. So what happens if we divide the column total? Now, by dividing this row total and column total, we are having the two set of numbers. One set of number is we are getting by dividing with the row total, and second number we are getting by dividing by the column total. So in this way, we can generate the coordinates of the plot, and by using these numbers, we can make the plots. Now, after that, the software apply the chi-square test, and the software will calculate something here. This is a summary table which you will get in the correspondence table. Now, how to read this table? This is the most important table in correspondence analysis. When you apply correspondence analysis, you need to report this table. This is the most important table actually. So we normally have 4 tables. If I should repeat this, this is the table number 1, which is the input data. And after that, by dividing with the row total, we are having this table. And then after dividing by the column total, we are getting this table. And then we got the results in this format. So in this table, the different values, what are the different values? Let me explain. These values are basically the eigenvalues, and eigenvalues are the roots of the characteristic equation. So it is a mathematical term. I'm not going to discuss the mathematics of it. But for it is important to know that these values are known as eigenvalues. The square of these values is known as inertia. So if you square these values, you will get that. And the sum of these values is this total. Now, if we divide 0.036 divided by 0.057, you will get this value 62.7. So it means the first dimension, means x-axis, explains 62% of the variance of the data. So this value should be high as much as possible. And the second dimension, which is nothing but it is a y-axis, the y-axis is explaining 26% of the variance of the data. And if you total them, the cumulative variance we can plot, we can explain, is 89.5%. So in total, the x-axis and the y-axis, we call them dimensions, dimension 1 and dimension 2, are able to explain 89% of the variance of the data. So this is important. After that, we have to check the chi-square value and the p-value, the probability value of chi-square. The null hypothesis of this chi-square value is that there is no association between the two rows and columns, or two variables. So we assume that there is no association between the row variable and the column variable. But because here the probability value is less than 0.05, so you know that we can reject the null hypothesis. It means the two variables are highly associated with each other. So this table you need to report in almost all the papers: the eigenvalues, the square of the eigenvalues, the chi-square, significance value, and how much variance is explained. Right? How much variance is explained by the table, and this is just the standard deviation variation in the table. The dimension 1 and dimension 2, we expect them to be lowest. Okay. So after this, after understanding the association between the two variables, row variable and column variable, then the most important output is coming to be the this is the same table. Actually, I wrote the explanation in different slides. Yeah. So this is already explained that 62% of the variance is explained by the dimension 1. Okay. Now after that, this is the same table. Yeah. After that, we are having the most important diagram. So basically, after that table, the most important diagram is this. In this diagram, this diagram is known as correspondence map, and we are relating the two variables together. Like in this example, basically, in this example, I want to know that what is the association between region and the political outlook, right? So in this picture, the colors are not very clear. Otherwise, this is green color and this is black color, but all seems to be same color. But actually, we are having better software nowadays, which will give you in better color and better shapes also. So you can identify that what is the association between the different variables. Like in this, if you see this table, the moderate is closest to the trend. Northeast is close to the moderate. The south is closest to the trend, conservative, and the west is very close to liberal. So in this way, we can conclude like this. And this is some of the examples I'm going to discuss. Like first of all, so I want to discuss this table. Actually, this is the project which some of the MBA students completed in their summer projects. So in this data set, let me show you the data set. They identify the different brands of the beer. So you can see this data set, and so that we can understand how we maintain the data set. So they have some of the positioning or the image of the product. These are the different images of the product, like innovative, friendly, and these are the different brands of the beer. Now I want to know, is there any association between the brand of the beer, and the positioning. Because I have only two categories here, so I can apply the correspondence analysis. So now I'm going to apply the correspondence analysis with this, and I will explain you the data set, how the data set looks like. So let me open the SPSS first. And yeah, this is the data which I want to open it. Yeah. So you can see that we are having the brands and we are having the positioning. So let me find out the frequency of the brands first. So in this case, you can see that these are the names of different brands like Kingfisher, Tuborg, Heineken, Foster, Carlsberg, Budweiser, right? So how many brands I have to count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have the 9 brands of the beer. Okay. After that, I want to find out the frequency of positioning. So in this case, the different positioning they are considered as 6: sophisticated, nightclub, enjoyable, friendly, innovative, and stylish. So I asked to my students, okay, brand name is very common, so you can get the details of the brand name from the market. That is not a problem. But from where you got these images? What is the source of these images? So they say that almost every year they do the advertisement, and whatever they say about their brand, that it is a sophisticated brand, or they are showing the nightclubs, or they are saying enjoyable. So these are the keywords they pick from their advertisements, right? So these are the different keywords they are taking from their advertisements after watching their advertisement and after understanding the positioning strategies of the company. So these words come from there. Now, 9 brands, 6 images. This is the data. Then I want to find out the cross tabulation. Cross tabulation means what is the table, summary table. So brand and positioning. So brand I assume as a row variable, and column as I assume as a position variable, column variable. And now this is the input data I am having. So input data is saying that if you see this input data, the Kingfisher, I am having the largest tick on the enjoyable. So it seems that it is related to the Kingfisher is an enjoyable brand. Then in Tuborg, the highest is coming in the 4. So maybe customer feel that this company makes some innovations. So similarly, Heineken is the 7 is the highest clicks in sophisticated. So I feel that there could be some association between the brands and the positioning. So at this point of time, I hope that you understand what kind of data we are going to use in correspondence analysis, right? And what is the input data? Input data looks like this. Okay, so I have the brands and positioning. After that, I'm going to apply correspondence analysis. So if I want to apply correspondence analysis, I just go to the dimension detection, and there is an option called correspondence analysis. So this is the simplest command. And after going to this command, I have to define which is my row variable and which variable is my positioning variable. And how many brands I have? So I have to define a range. So define range, I have 9 brands. So I write minimum value is 1 and maximum value is 9. Update. If you click on update, you can see all the 9 values here. Continue. Similarly, in positioning, you know that I have 6 images. So 1, 2, 6. So there are 6 positioning strategies adopted by the company. So I click on the update. So if I click on update, I can see all the 6 values here. Continue. And after defining my row variable and column variable, now there are some things which I have to click on here. Like first of all, model. So dimension, number of dimension I require is 2. It is by default. And I want to calculate the chi-square value, and no other important command is required here. In statistics, we click on the row profile, column profile. So we want to see the row profile and column profile. Continue. And plots, in most of the cases, we click on the by plot because 3D plot you can't understand. So by plot we click, and if you want to see the row point separately, click on the row point. And if you want to see the coordinates of the column, you can see separately. And biplot is the combination of rows and column. Okay, line plot, but these three plots are enough. And I click on continue. So after clicking all these things, I am just going to click OK. So let me check it. Do I have symmetrical? Yeah, this norm relation is symmetrical. Chi-square I need. Yeah, fine. Statistics, a correspondence table I require. Overview of row point. Yes, I need that. Okay. Now I have all the result with me. So I'm showing you the result. So this is the table which I show during the cross tabulation. So this is my summary table. So that I show you. And in this case, we are having how many ticks by different respondents. It is seen in this. And when I divide all the numbers by 11, so I will get my row profile. You can see that if all the numbers are divided by the row total, so I will get this. And if you compare this first row, in first row, you can see that I have the highest value like this. Then I have, so let me pick the highest values. So these highest values are indicating the possible association between the different brands and the images, right? So I hope I am clicking on the highest values. So what it mean actually? It means is that the Kingfisher is assumed to be enjoyable, Tuborg is assumed to be innovative, Hennenkin is assumed to be sophisticated, Budweiser is assumed to be nightclub. So like this. So this kind of association I am feeling. After that, let me go to the column total. So in column total, again we can show the same thing. So all the numbers I'm getting by dividing the each value by the column total. Now you can see that in if you see column wise, so the most sophisticated beer is found to be Hennenkin, right? The more nightclub beer is found to be highest in case of Budweiser. The highest value you can see here. Similarly, enjoyable, the highest value I'm getting is the Kingfisher. Innovative, highest value is Tuborg, and Corona. Yeah. Okay. So similarly, stylish, Stella. So I can find out that there are two meanings of it. Number one, the which image, this image is closest to which brand. I can see from this table, and from this first table I can find out that which brand is close to which positioning, right? So which brand is close to which positioning and which positioning is close to which brand. So we can see like this. After that, we want to examine the hypothesis. Can we say both the brands and positionings are associated? Is there any relationship? So that we can see from the summary table. I told you that this is most important table. And but if I check it, the eigenvalue of first is quite high. So this is the square, 56%, and 51 is the eigenvalue of second, and it is 26% less than the first dimension. So first dimension accounted for 47% of the variance, and second dimension accounted for 22% of the variance. We will not check other because we can make only biplot. We can make only a two-dimensional plot, so we will not check the dimension number 3, 4, 5. We have to limit ourselves to the dimension 1 and dimension number 2. Now the chi-square value is found to be 0.117 and having the probability value less than 0.05. So it means there is a significant association between the brands and the positionings. Okay, now we want to see the plots. Okay, yeah. So this is a row plot. The plot of only the brands. So this is the plot of the brands. So in this plot, I told you that this is the presentation of the MDS, multi-dimensional scaling. So in a way, the result which I can conclude from here that Budweiser and Foster are close to be the competitors to each other, because from customers' perspective, they are similar. Corona and Stella, they are same. Tuborg and Carlsberg, they are same. And these four comes in one cluster. So Kingfisher, Hayward's, Foster, Budweiser comes in one cluster. Tuborg and Cadbury's comes in another cluster, and Corona and the Stella comes in third cluster. And within the cluster, the Foster and Budweiser is the closest, and Hayward's and Kingfisher. So these are the closest brands. So it means in the mind of the customers, the image of these brands are similar. Similarly, I can find out the images. Like the image of innovative and stylish seems to be closer. The enjoyable and friendly, they are closer. Nightclub, sophisticated, they are closer. So if you club them, if you club the two graphs, you will get this, right? So you will get this chart. This chart is basically the most important chart of the correspondence analysis. So I started with this brands and positioning, and the if you see the colors, the red color is showing you the positioning or the image, and brands is shown by the blue color. So here Corona and Stylish, you can see they are very close to each other. Similarly, Friendly and Havertz, they are very close to each other. Kingfisher and the Enjoyable, they are close to each other. Heineken is Sophisticated, they are close to each other. So now we have the answer that which brand is considered as what image. So what is the image of which brand? We have clear answer of the query, and you can report this chart as well as chi-square table, as well as row table and column table in the paper. Your one paper is complete, right? So from research perspective, this is a very easy technique but very effective technique. The correspondence analysis is a very effective technique, most used in marketing research, and you know only two things, that what is the image and what is the brand. So there are different kind of examples you can imagine in your areas, that where we can apply the rows and correspondence analysis. So now I am showing you one more example. After that, I hope it will be clear. And let me open another example. Uh, so I'm taking another data set, like let's say car. So second example I'm taking of a car. So we are having the brands. All these are the project reports, projects done by the MBA students. So I have the data from there, and they just want to find out what is the association between the cars and the attributes. Attributes means for what attribute the car is famous or the car is known for. So first of all, I have to see the frequency table. So let me take both here, and I have to count the number of cars. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars, and these are Maruti, Hyundai, Tata, Nissan, Honda, Audi. So these are the name of the cars which is included in the research. And the second table is showing you the attributes. So 6 cars. So I have to count the numbers 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So both are 6 in numbers. So there are 6 attributes and there are 6 cars. Price, brand value, mileage, maintenance, design, look. So fine, no problem. Now let me check the cross tabulation. So this is the command for cross tabulation, and brand I'm sending to the row, attribute I'm sending to the column. Let me click OK, and this is the result. So this is my summary table, and the out of 10 clicks, the 5 are in the price, 3 are in the brand value, 2 are in the mileage, 0, 0, 0 are in the this. So it seems that the Maruti is famous for the price, the value of money. The Hyundai is famous for the maintenance. So it is a maintenance-free car, assumed to be maintenance-free car. Tata is assumed to be the maintenance and design. Nissan is assumed to be the mileage. So Honda is assumed to be the brand value. Audi is assumed to be the mileage and maintenance, brand value. So these are the number of ticks we have in the research from the respondents. Now I want to apply the correspondence analysis on this data set. So you know how easy it is. Just go to the dimension reduction, correspondence analysis. After that, click on the brand, click on the attribute. So brand I will send to my rows, and I have 6 cars, so I put minimum value 1, maximum value 6, and click on the update and continue. Similarly, in attributes, define range, you just click 1 and 6 because we know that there are 6 images. The brand name of the brand you can take easily from the market, but these images, attributes, you have to take from the literature or some advertisement, right? So these are the attributes, and the attribute, there are different ways to generate the attributes. So that is a different topic. After that, I'm going to model dimension. I need 2 chi-square. Everything is fine here. In statistics, I need row and column profile. In plots, I want to see all the plots and continue. And after that, I can click OK. So I know that this is a very easy technique. So the first table you need to report in the paper if you want to write a paper. The first table, go to the paper. This is just number of clicks for different cells. Like for example, in first row, the maximum click comes in the first cell. In second row, the maximum number of click comes in fourth cell, like this. Then if you divide all the numbers by row total, you will get this. And similarly, if you divide every number by the column total, you will get this. So I hope you understand the meaning of and interpretation of these tables. Then I have to check the chi-square. The chi-square is saying that there is a significant association between the two. Yeah, it is good. And 82% of the variance explained by both the dimensions. So the first dimension is explaining 56% of the variance, and second is explaining 25% of the variance. In total, both the dimensions are explaining 56 plus 25, that is 82% of the variance, which is quite good. So 82% of variance is quite good. It means the analysis may be meaningful. After that, I have to click on the plot number 1. This is plot number 1, where you can find out that which brands you can put in one cluster and which brand you can put in different. So you can see that Nissan, Hyundai, Audi, Honda, they are coming in one cluster. Tata is having some unique image. Maruti is also having some different image in the mind of the customers, and all four are having some similarity. Then we can see the images, price. If you think value for money, the different idea, looks of the car, design of the car, maintenance, mileage, brand value. So when you club them, when you overlap them, row and column, you will get this kind of diagram. And this kind of diagram is is known as correspondence diagram. It is quite important. So we can say here the Maruti is famous for the price, value for money. Tata is famous for the design and looks. Nissan is considered to be the best mileage and maintenance. Hyundai is considered to be the best in maintenance, and the Honda is considered to be the best in brand value, like this. So this is the simple examples of correspondence analysis. I hope now you are comfortable with correspondence analysis. And